Hi everyone, in this video we are going to download and install KFSensor. So KFSensor is a honeypot. It is a window-based honeypot, and honeypot we install like we deliberately install some machine with some vulnerability so that an outsider and cyber criminal can actually attack this machine. So we deploy this machine to attract or to lure an attacker. And KFSensor is one of the honeypots, and in this video we are going to download and install in Windows 10 machine. Okay, so now to install KFSensor, which is actually honeypot. So to install it, first we need to download it. And to download KFSensor, I'm opening this browser. And in this browser, we will just write KFSensor, KFSensor, and then we type download. So we can see we have these links. So free trial of KFSensor. This is also a link, and that both of the links are actually keyfocus.net links. So I'm going to click here first, and as the page appears, we can see this is the web page, keyfocus.net KFSensor. This is advanced Windows honeypot system, and this is the enhanced IDS and intrusion and side threat detection for our network. And then this is some introduction about that with what KFSensor does. So further discussion is here that KFSensor act as a honeypot designed to attract and detect hackers and worms by simulating vulnerable system and services and trojans. It means it will be simulating something to attract hackers or cyber criminals so that they attack our system, and our purpose is to monitor their activity. So KFSensor is a pre-configured to monitor all TCP and UDP ports along with ICMP, and it is also configured with emulation of common services. So this was some introduction of KFSensor. Let's download it, and for downloading it, we are downloading the free trial version. And to download this free trial version, we have to give some information here like username and password, or not password, sorry, the first name, last name, and the company name, and maybe job role here. And we also need to give our country we are living in, for instance, and then we have this email account. So you can use any email account, and there are also services on internet that they give you emails for use for only certain time, maybe for 10 minutes. So we submit it, and after this will display this screen from where we can download it. So you can for Windows 7, 8, and 10 Windows Server. This is the trial version, and for older Windows, this is the link to download it. And last link is that if you are blocked from downloading files, then try this zipped version. So if we will be blocked, then we will be using this. But to avoid any situation, I'm going to use this link where we will have a zip file. We can download it. And then there's also a network packet capture library. So KFSensor makes use of industry standard network capturing library. So these are network capturing library which we needs in some of the cases here. So we are also downloading this thing, npcap, and we are also downloading this this zip version of KFSensor. So now both of the files are downloading on my system, and you can see this is already there. And first we are running npcap. So npcap is showing here, yes, install it, and I agree, install, and this is installing on my machine. And npcap we need, this will work, KFSensor will work without this as well, but some of the feature will be disabled if you don't install npcap there. So we are installing it. It may take some time, and let's say we also have this KFSensor, but before that, yeah, so next here, finish. npcap has been installed, and now if we go here where we have our KFSensor, we have downloaded here. So before installing, I want to show one thing that I want to emphasize, that KFSensor will open all the ports on the host machine. So for example, in our case, we are installing this KFSensor on Windows machine. So after installation, it will be opening all the ports, and it will be running some of the services so that it can attract hackers. But at this time, when we have not installed KFSensor, let's see what ports and services are already open. So let's see here. We can check it that whether which ports are services are open here. we can check or we can use a Kali Linux machine which is on our network, on virtual network. So this Kali Linux and this Windows 10. So I want to run a scanning tool from Kali Linux to Windows 10 to see what ports or services are running. And for this we need the IP address of Windows machine. So to find IP address, we go to command prompt here. In the command prompt we have to write ipconfig, enter, and you can see this IP address of Windows 10 192.168.66.133. So now with this IP address, let's go to Kali Linux, and from Kali Linux we have to launch the terminal here, and in this terminal we have to run, like we can run nmap, simple nmap, and for stealthy scan we can type ss, and then we have to give the IP address of this, that is, we are removing this, that is 192.168.66.133. so that's the IP address of Windows 10, and we are running nmap tool to scan ports and services there, which requires sudo privileges. Yes, we should give the sudo super user privileges, sudo, and press enter, asking for password, give password, and now it's scanning Windows 10 for open ports and services. So now you can see here we have only these ports which are open, 135, 139, 45, 445. So these are the open ports which are shown at this time, which are open at Windows 10 machine. So okay, now this is the window. We can minimize it on Kali machine, and now let's go to our Windows 10 machine here, and in Windows 10 let's install KFSensor. So to install KFSensor, we just double click here and it should install it. So first it's giving us warning message that running this app might put your PC at risk, because it will, after installation of KFSensor, all the ports and services will be open and anyone can come and attack our machine. So it's after this warning message, we must be sure that we want to install it. So we are sure that we want to install it, so we say run anyway. So it has started installing it. We can see this wizard. Maybe minimize this window. Yeah, so we have this window, and this has started installing it. So click next. I accept the terms, yes, and this is the by default location where this tool will be installed, and then just install it. And then do you want to allow this app? Yes, we want to allow this app, and this is installing. It may take some time, and then KFSensor will be ready. Yes, this install finished, and now window appears here, and in this window it says that setup wizard. This is the setup wizard to set some initial settings here. So if you want to get some help, you can click there and we'll have some help here, KFSensor help, and here there are a lot of amazing things which we can learn. Okay, like here, and then we just go next. Maybe we can learn more about this later. We can always bring back that window of help. Anyway, so this window is that these are the ports with active native services. So native services means these are the services which already use these ports, and KFSensor is also using same ports for same services. So okay, by default setting we are going, we agree with those settings, we are not changing it. So click next, and then this is email alert. So if this is in case when if someone is attacking or someone is going to scan our Windows 10 machine, then this KFSensor will detect it, and if you want to send these detecting messages or whatever appears on the screen, if you want to send this to some email account, then we can also configure it. It may take some time. Maybe we will set this in some other video, how to set email alerts here. At the moment I'm not using any email here, and finish. Now our KFSensor is ready, and the first screen which appears in front of us, that is the interface between a user and KFSensor. And this interface which I am moving, this is known as KFSensor monitor. And this KFSensor has different views which I want to go through now. So very first important view, like sports view, when you hover over there you can see ports, and here just beside that we have visitors. So that's the ports view. of KFSensor, and this is the visitor view of KFSensor. Okay, let's click to see. Yeah, these are different. Okay, so now what is in KFSensor ports view? So ports view actually indicates the name and status of KFSensor. You can see this is the name of KFSensor. Yeah, this is the name of KFSensor and the ports at which it is listening. So you can see these are the ports at which KFSensor is listening. TCP ports, sorry, FTP, SMTP, DNS, DHCP, IIS. So these all are the ports on which KFSensor is listening, and if any outsider or hacker is going to scan these ports, then a message will be generated. So that will be detected by this KFSensor, and that will be shown on the right hand side, this one, which is at the moment this is blank, we don't have any activity. So this is actually known as events view on the right hand side. Here we can see the events detected by KFSensor, and at the moment we don't have any event. And in addition to that, you can see this ports view also gives us the information about protocols like TCP, UDP, and the ports which use these protocols. And just beside that, we have visitor view. If we click there, so this visitor view shows us that who have visited, who has connected to our this KFSensor or to this Windows machine. So that will be displayed here. At the moment this is empty, we'll see this. We'll try to access this and then see if there is something. We'll verify this. Okay. In addition to that, yes, this is some first thing we got, that there's some UDP. So that's from desktop. So this is the recent activity, and this is the IP address which actually virtual machines create automatically. This is no outsider, but in actually I'm using virtual environment, so these are the IP addresses which are created. And then okay, so this visitor view, ports view, and then let's go here. Yeah, some other things that if you want to see the reports, like how many users or how many visitors visited, what ports they use, so such kind of reports can be generated, but we need to configure it, and we have not configured yet anything now. Okay, so with this, now let's move to this one, and this let's say what's the IP address. So this is means activity on this virtual machine itself. So it's going to detect these all activities slowly, you see here, and 138, and these are the virtual machine kind of things which we can see here. But we will see that if we attack from some other machine, I'll show you in this Kali machine to demonstrate it. But let's say now with this brief introduction, now we have this events view, ports view, and visitor view, and after this we are going to scan this machine. So we are going to scan this machine from Kali Linux, but we can also see if we open browser here in this machine on Windows 10. So and this Windows 10 is the browser, and if we try to access the local host of this machine, local host address, so we say 127, that should be 127.0.0.1 local host IP address. So press enter. So now we are trying to scan port number 80, and you can see this shows some indication. So this has been detected. Now let's go back here. So I'm going to close this window. That's for help only. I'm going to close this, and here it should display that there's some activity occurred and someone tried to access port number 80 on the local host. So you can see here on the very first line that in our events view. So this is the events view, and if we click there, you can see, yes, so you can see here it shows that someone tried to access port number 80 here, right? If I just try to show sensor port number 80 using TCP protocol was accessed by this was the visitor, the desktop. We ourselves were the visitor, and at what time? That is this is time, time should be matching with this one. At the bottom right, you can see this is the time of my system. Exactly that time is reflected here, that at this time this activity occurred. So you can see this activity, we can see these activities on our own machine. We try to access the local host, but now let's try some other machine from some other hacking machine like Kali Linux. So from Kali Linux, if you are going to run again this nmap against Windows machine, let's see here. and use this nmap, and then SAM selfie scan, and then we use this IP address, and that our IP address is 192.168.66.133, and let's remove this -bn option. We will be just using the same option for scan our Windows machine. So now just press enter, and yes, it needs sudo privileges. We made same mistake again. So sudo administrative privileges, press enter, and asking for password, give password, and now it has started scanning ports available and ports and services available on Windows 10. But this time you can see the difference that there are many ports available, ports and services which are open, and this is due to installation of KFSensor. So it means this, I can also show you the previous window. I think this was so previously you can see only these ports were open, but now we can see like we have many more ports open, and this is due to the installation of KFSensor on our machine. Okay, now we can also see that which ports are open and what services are running. We have these like very well-known ports, FTP, we also have SSH, we have telnet that is open. It means we can telnet from this Kali machine to Windows 10 because that's open. Maybe we can try it. So these all ports are open, and now let's go to Windows 10, and we want to verify that KFSensor was able to detect this activity. So you can say this color also shows that this was something was detected by KFSensor, and now we can see that a lot of events have occurred, which we can see on this right hand screen. And it says that like if we take any one event, so we are in the ports view here, and here we have these events which occurred line by line. So you can see here the first event, if I click there, it shows that someone from this IP address, that's 192.168.66.129, someone, this was the visitor who visited or scanned using TCP protocol. So this is the port of sensor port, which is the port of KFSensor, and you can see they also visited port number 21, which is here, SMTP. I hope you can see below lines. So it's showing that some visitor scanned this Windows 10 machine, and these all ports were scanned. So this is the ports view, and also if we go here in visitors view, this should show us the IP address, this one. So this is a recent activity from 192.168 and 129. This is the IP address of we can verify this, the IP address of Kali machine from where it actually was scanned. So I want to show you that IP address. So go to Kali machine and open terminal here, and let's say ifconfig. So this should give us the IP address, and you can see here this Kali Linux OS machine has this IP address .66 and 1.129, and same IP address is going to appear here in this in visitor on this one, and rest one, these are these virtual machine related IP addresses. So this was Kali, and Kali tried to access, and this is displayed here. Now in addition to that, if we are interested, for example, if we go here in ports view, if you are interested to see further details about any single event, then we can click there, and we can click event details, and in this event details, this is showing us further details about that. So this is event number 129 from here. Okay, and sensor ID is KFSensor, event ID 129, and this is start time, severity level high, and IP address of visitor, Kali Linux IP address. This is the port which was scanned, and TCP port close, further information and details about that, start time, and you can see close by server and IP address, further details and some information about its signature and the data which was exchanged. So in this way we can actually see that these are the events, and we can just right click and we can go to further details, and we can also create visitor rules as well. So here we have some option, we can create some visitor rules that if someone is going to attack or access our machine using a specific protocol, then what action needs to be taken. we'll go through in these rules in details in some other video. So yes, so these are some rules we can create, and these are some events, or these are some events which occurred, and this KF sensor is going to display these events for us. And yes, we also mentioned that we can also send these events to some specific email addresses. We need to set this up, SMTP server we can set up here, and then this list or the information about these events will be sent to emails. And the moment these list or the details about these events and visitor will also be saved in C drives there. So if we go to C drive here, and this is, you can see there's a folder, KF sensor folder, and within this KF sensor folder these will be created here in this logs messages. And so we can have this information here as well. So now let's go back. What else? And we can also use, and in addition to that, this is the help here. If we click their help, and then if we click on content here you can see extensive help is provided by this KF sensor. So this is somehow introduction of KF sensors. So KF sensors are Windows based, Honeypot IDS, and then we can maybe look into the manual here. So you can see this manual overview, and if we click there, they give discussion about different views like ports view, visitors view, events view, which I briefly discuss about these things here. And you can also see this thing again here, and then this menu bar, KF sensors server. So these all details are there for further learning in KF sensor. Okay, so we saw that this KF sensor, when we install it, it is going to open multiple ports and services on this Windows machine, and then it actually attracts hackers to attack this Windows machine. And when they attack it, we can see that this is going to detect these events, and we can see these events in this event view. And then in some other video we will also discuss that how we can maybe send these events to some specific email or to maybe some specific server for monitoring. Okay, so thank you very much for today's video.